Alright, so today we will be going over KC1A and B, okay? So we're going to start off with KC1. KC1 talks about combining like terms, okay? Combining like terms means combine the terms that are the same, okay? And how do I know they're the same? Well, the ones that have an X, so for example, 2X, I'm going to combine it with another number that has an X. The X is what you're focusing on, the variable, okay? So if I have 6y, I'm gonna combine it with another number that has another y, okay? What if I only have numbers? So if I have a 6, I'm gonna combine it with another number. So let's say 2. Notice how they don't have x, y, they don't have a letter, they don't have a variable. So they could be combined, 6 and 2. They don't have letters, so that's what we're talking about combining like terms. So the very first one, we have to find the perimeter of the square. How do you find the perimeter of the square? You add all the sides. Okay, and the very first square, they only gave you one side, the top side, 2x, but we know that a square has all equal sides, okay? So if they don't give you any information about the other sides, you're gonna assume that the other sides have the same thing as the top. So it's 2x, 2x, and 2x. To add all the sides, I have to all of them, right? Add all of them. 2x plus 2x plus 2x plus 2x. And again, we're combining actions again. If they have x with the numbers that have x, right? Okay, well, I noticed that the 2 has an x here, has an x, has an x, has an x. That means I can combine all of them. All you have to do is add the numbers. The variable stays the same. Since they all had an x, my answer has to have an x. Okay, you're going to add the numbers. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 gives me 8. And that's my final answer. So the perimeter for this square is 8x. All right, number 2 is the same thing, but just a little bit different, okay? We have to find the perimeter again, so we need to add all the sides. However, notice that they give you the top and the side, okay? So not all the sides are equal. That means that the top is 5x plus 3, so the bottom has to be 5x plus 3. To the right is 3x, so the left has to be 3x. Again, you have to add all the sides. So I'm gonna semi-square equation first. So 5x plus 3 is the first one. So I did this, check, right? That's my little check. Plus 3x. So I'm always adding. So if this helps, put a big plus sign in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to the other side. So plus 5x plus 3. And I'm missing the other one, 3x, check. I am adding all those sides already. Okay, after you say your equation, obviously this cannot be your answer. It's a very long answer. So we have to combine terms. To combine terms means that we are making our answer smaller. Okay, again, we're combining the ones that have the x with the x. Okay, so notice how 5x has an x, 3x has an x, 5x has an x, and 3x has an x. Okay, again, x stays the same because they all have an x. All you have to do is add the numbers 5, 3, 5, and 3, which will give me 16x. Okay, then all you have left is the ones that you haven't touched, which are 3 and 3. So all you have to do is add, and notice how they don't have any letters. 3 by itself, 3 by itself. So 3 plus 3 gives me 6. So this is my answer. This is my perimeter for this square. 6x plus 6. All right, next. We have to rewrite the following expression. What does it mean to rewrite? Again, like I said, this is a long answer. To rewrite it just makes it a little bit smaller, okay? By making it smaller, we're combining like terms. So all you have to do is combine like terms. Again, x with x, y with y, numbers with no letters with numbers with no letters. Okay, I noticed that 5x has an x. Which other one has an x? Well, 7. They have an x, so x stays the same. all you have to do is do the operation that is going with the number. For instance, I have positive 5 minus 7. So 5 minus 7, okay, will give me negative 2x. And if you don't have a calculator, you should know that positive with a negative, we keep the sign of the biggest number and you have to subtract. Okay, so it's negative 2x. And if you still don't know that rule, just use your calculators. Okay, after that, I got rid of the x. What's next? Well, I noticed that there's a y, but I don't see any other number with a y, so I'm going to keep the 14y. I can't do anything with it. Okay, next. All I have are the numbers that have no more letters. Okay, so the ones that don't have letters is negative 9 and positive 11. You always want to keep the sign next to the number. So this one's negative, this one's positive. Okay, that is telling you that it's going to be negative 9 plus 11. You put them together with the sign, and that's going to give you negative 9 plus 11. So negative 9 plus 11 is just going to give you plus 2. Again, you subtract, keep the sign of the biggest number, or use your calculator. And there you go. We made our long equation a little bit smaller. So can you guys try number 6? Alright, next. They're asking you if the two expressions are equivalent. Equivalent means equal. Are they equal? Is this side equal to this side? That's our question. Well, what do we notice about this side? Okay, we notice that it has parentheses, and we know that wherever we see parentheses, we need to get rid of it. I can't do anything with this because it already has negative 5x minus 10. Can I combine like terms? No. I have an x and I have a number with no letters. So this side stays the same. Nothing happens to it. Now the other side, I could do something with it. Every time I have a parentheses, I know my number outside I have to distribute. And what do you do when you distribute? You multiply. So negative 5 times x is just negative 5x. Okay? Every time you have a number with a variable, what's going between them is a multiplication. Negative 5 times x. And there you go. Negative 5 times 2 gives me negative 10. Okay, can I do anything else with this? No. I have an x and I have a whole number with no variable. That means I cannot combine any terms. So then there you go, I'm done. So all I have to do is answer my question. Are these two equivalent? Well, I have negative 5x, negative 5x. I have negative 10 and I have negative 10. So yes, they are equal. All right, now number 8, I didn't have it here, but I'm gonna write it on the side. And it's a little bit different, okay? And I feel like people are getting confused with this one. It's the same question. They're asking you if one side is equal to the next side. Okay? Again, the right side can't do anything with it. I have a y and I have a whole number, so that side stays the same. 12y minus 36. I can't do anything with it. Okay, what about this side? All right, notice the difference between the first equation, number 7, and number 8. Okay, I have the negative 5 next to the parentheses. That's why I distribute. But what's next to the parentheses? I have a positive number, okay, positive sign. That tells me that I have an imaginary 1 here, okay? And again, I have to distribute that 1. So 1 times y is just y. Because 1 times 1 was 1, right? We're going to be positive y. 1 times 3 is just 3. And after this, you have to combine items. How do I know I have to combine? Well, I have a number, a y, and a number. The numbers do not have any letters. So that means I could combine them. Negative 12 plus 3 will give me negative 9. Can I do anything with a y? No, so it stays the same. Can I combine negative 9 plus y? Well, Negative 9 does not have y, so I cannot combine those two. So that means that this has to equal 12y minus negative 36. Oops, I wrote 2 1. So negative 12y equals negative 36. Are those two equal to each other? No. Why not? Well, they have to add. How do I know I added? Well, look, I added the 1, right? I am adding. I did not distribute like the very first one. Okay, question 7, we distribute. Question 8, we added. Okay, hopefully you can see the difference. Alright, moving on to KCB. KCB still talks about combining like terms, but now we're doing the opposite. You're still combining like terms because you're working with the ones that have like terms. X with X, number with number, Y with Y. But now we're doing the opposite at all times, okay? So it says solve the following. Okay, that means that they want us to find X. They want a number for X. To get a number for X, to get a number for X, you're gonna have to combine like terms. It does not matter which side you start. Why? Because I have 12x, negative 4. I have two numbers this side, right? And you should know that the equal sign creates two sides. One side, the other side. I have 10x and positive 6. How many numbers do I have? 2. So I have the same amount of numbers in both of them, okay? So it does not matter where I start from. It's up to you, what do you want to do? So, let's say I'll get rid of, let's see, I'll get rid of the 10x. I want to have x to stay on this side. To get rid of this x on this side, I have to do the opposite. Well, what's the opposite? Well, this 10 is going to be a positive 10. It doesn't have a sign, but I know that the numbers that do not have a sign, it's a positive. Okay? To get rid of, you need to do the opposite. So what's the opposite of adding? Subtracting. Whatever you do to one side, you gotta do it to the next side, and you have to match it with the x. So x, right, has to go with the x. See that? I cannot subtract it for the 4 because 4 does not have an x. All right, positive with minus 10 gives me 0. So all I have left on this side, the 6 drops down, so I only have 6. The 4, I didn't do anything with it, so negative 4 drops. But what's 12 minus 10x? Well, that's just going to give me 2x. Okay. Now, how many terms do I have on this side? I have 2x, negative 4, so I have 2 terms. How many terms do I have in this one? 1. Okay. You always want to start on the side that has the most terms. For instance, I know that this side has 2, so I need to get rid of one of the numbers, 2x or negative 4. Well, I know if I move 2x to the other side, I have to have another x on the other side. Do I have an x on the other side? No, that 6 has no letter, no variable. That means I have to work with the negative 4. The negative 4, to get rid of it, I might have to do the opposite. It has a negative, so that means it's subtracting. The opposite of subtracting is adding 4. And I said it, whatever you do to one side, you gotta do it to the other side. Well, negative 4 plus 4 cancels out. 2x is all I have left. And 6 plus 4 gives me 10. Okay, again, how many terms do I have on this side? 1 and 1. Doesn't matter where side we start from, but now, remember, we want x to be by itself. And I know I don't have another x on the other side, right? So this is the time to get rid of that number. To get rid of that number, I told you guys from KC1 that 2x is just 2 times x. What's the opposite of multiplication? Sorry. you're gonna divide by 2. Whatever you do to one side, you're gonna do it to the next side. 2 divided by 2 is gonna cross out, it's gonna give me x, and 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. So x equals 5. And that's it. Notice how we're still combining like terms, but now we're doing the opposite. Okay, let's try the next one. The next one's kind of tricky. We have fractions now. There's 2 ways to get rid of fractions, but I like to do the reciprocal. The reciprocal of fraction just means the opposite. So for instance, if I have 5, 4, the reciprocal would just mean that it's 4 over 5. You just switch the numbers. The number that goes on top, now it's on the bottom. The number that's on the bottom, now goes on top. Okay? So, again, I need x by itself. That's the whole purpose of this. Well, x is next to my fraction. And what do you notice from the other side? The other side does not have an x, right? That means I cannot work with that x yet. Again, how many terms do I have? I have an x, and I have a whole number. And I have a whole number. I have 2 numbers on this side, I have 1. I told you, start with the side that has most numbers, okay? Which is the x, where the x is. To get rid of the x, I need to get rid of the other number first. So I know I have to work with -7 first, okay? So to get rid of -7, again, it's negative, you're gonna have to add 7. Whatever you do to one side, you're gonna do it to the next side. Okay, 2/3 stay the same. Okay, don't forget the x. -7 plus 7 cancels out, gives me 0. 25 plus 7 gives me 32. Okay, now you have a fraction, right? An x variable. Do I have an x variable on the other side? No. I have one term on the other side. That means I need to get rid of this fraction right here. To get rid of this fraction, I have to do the reciprocal, right? The reciprocal of this will be 3 over 2. Switch the numbers, remember? And whatever you do to one side, you gotta do it to the other side. Okay, this cancels out because that's the whole point of doing the reciprocal. So now I have x equals, all you have to do is put it in your calculator, 32 times 3 over 2. How do you do that? You put 32 times 3 divided by 2, okay? That's how you put it in your calculator. Do not put 32 times 3 equals and then divide by 2. You have to put it all together in the calculator, okay? And that should give you 48. So x equals 48. All right, next. We have to do the same thing. We have to find m, okay? So we need to figure out m, but what do you notice here? That this one side has parentheses. I can't work until I get rid of that parentheses. Again, how do I get rid of parentheses? Well, you need to distribute the number outside the parentheses with each term inside. And I know there's 2 terms because this one has an m. This one doesn't have an m. They're different. They're 2 different numbers, okay? So all I have to do is -5 times -2, which will give me positive 10m. You should know that negative times another negative is going to give you a positive number. -5 times -9 will give me positive 45. On the other side, I cannot do anything with it because 8m minus 7, they're not the same. They're different numbers. Again, this one has an m, this one doesn't. That one's just a whole number, so obviously I can't do anything with it. This looks exactly like number 3, the one we started with, okay? You have to combine like terms. Again, you start with the side that has most numbers. I have 10m here, 45, that's 2. I have 8m and -7, that's 2. Okay, so because we have the same amount of numbers on both sides, you start wherever you want. Get rid of the number that you want, does not matter, okay? So let's say I'll get rid of 8m, okay? To get rid of 8m, I have to do the opposite of 8m. Well, I know it's going to be a positive here, right? Because I told you the number doesn't have a sign. That means it's a positive. The opposite of positive is negative 8m. Whatever you do to one side, you're going to do it to the next side. Okay, so 8 minus 8 cancels out. All I have left on this is negative 7. I didn't do anything with that negative 7. Did I do anything with the 45? Nope. So that stays the same. 10 minus 8, okay, it gives me 2m. And don't forget, since they have the same variable, the variable stays the same. What you're changing is the numbers, that's it. It says 10 because it's positive. 10 minus 8 gives me 2m. Okay, now we're gonna see how many terms we have. We have 1 and we have 2, so we have 2 terms, and I have 1. That means I'm gonna have to start with the left side, okay? I have 2m and 45. Which one should I get rid of? Well, if I get rid of m, do I have an m on the other side? No, I have negative 7. That's a number. That means I need to get rid of that 45 because it's a number, okay? 45 is positive, so I'm gonna have to subtract 45. Whatever you do to one side, you gotta do it to the next side. 45 minus 45 cancels out. 2m drops down. I didn't do anything to that m. 2m, sorry. So it stays the same. Negative 7 minus 45 gives me negative 52. And again, I'm just using the symbols of the numbers. So it's negative 7 minus 45. Okay, and then after that, again, I have one term on one side, right? This is 1. And then I have one term on the other side. That means that now I can do, what am I going to do to get m by itself? Well, I notice that it's 2m, so that means it's 2 times m. To get rid of that, I need to divide, right? Because we're multiplying, the opposite of multiplication is division. So this cancels out, and now I have m equals negative 26. Alright, so hopefully this makes sense. Okay, if you're still struggling, please come see me. Number 9 is fill in the blanks, okay? So step 1, obviously the steps are giving the equations, the math part. The right side is giving you the reasons. Tell me why you did what you did, okay? So very first one, if I was to give you this equation right here, what is the first thing that you should do? And based on your pen book, you should do parentheses first. So my reason is parentheses. Okay? Because that is part of my pen book. Oops, I forgot that E. P stands for parentheses. So that's the very first thing I should do. Always, always, every time you see a parentheses. Okay? So if I have a parentheses, what am I going to do to get rid of it? I have to distribute, remember? And that number has to distribute to each term. So then my final answer will be negative 3x, because I didn't do anything to that. What's negative 5 times x? It's just going to be negative 5x. What's negative 5 times negative 4? Well, it's going to be positive 20 because negative times negative becomes positive. And there you go. That will be my first step. They gave you the second, the third, and the fourth. So they finished solving for x. All you have to do is tell me the reason for step 2. Okay? I have negative 3x minus 5x plus 20 plus 28. How many terms do I have on the first side? Remember? I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have 3. On the other side, I have 1. Look at the second step. How many terms do you have? 1, 2, and the other side has 1. That means that they got rid of one of the numbers from the side that had 3 sides. Well, what do you notice? 20 stay the same, 28 stay the same, okay? That means that negative 3x minus 5x has to equal negative 8x. That's how they got negative 8x. So you notice that x and x, the reason why they did that is because they combined like terms. Okay, that's how I got -8. So that's all you have to do, fill in the blanks. Okay, obviously you have to know what's the very first step and then need to see what changed from the first step to the second, or from the second to the third, and so on. Okay. All right, moving on to the last one, word problems. Okay, you need to really pay attention to what they're giving you. Okay, it says two cakes have the same total height. If they have the same total height, that means they have to equal the same. Equal symbol means that one side is equal to the other side. They are equal, they are the same. Okay. So in one side, you're gonna write the one cake because we're talking about two cakes. In the other one, you're gonna write about the second cake. Okay. All right. So let's read. One cake has 9 layers with height h. Okay. So it has 9 layers. Do we know the height? No, but they told you that the height is gonna be h. So it's 9h. The other cake, which is the second cake, has a base layer of 10, so it already has a base layer of 10, and 4 other layers. And means you're adding, okay? And because you're adding, you started with 10, but you're adding more, so 4 more layers, and you don't know the height either. Again, it's gonna be h. And after that, you just have to find h, right? It says write and solve an equation to find the height h of each layer. So the whole purpose is that they want us to find the height. How much is each height? Well, we have our equation. All we have to do is combine like terms. Again, you start with the part where they have most numbers. 9h on this side has 1. This side, has 10, and then 4h, that's 2. So what side should we start with? The right side, okay? If making the line in the middle helps you, you should do it, okay? Helps me keep in mind that it's one side, two sides, one side, two sides, okay? Obviously, which number should I get rid of? Well, I notice I have 10 and 4h. Do I have an h on the other side? I have h and h. Remember we're combining like terms, so yes. That means I'm gonna have to get rid of 4. 4 has a positive 4, so that means I need to subtract 4. Whatever I do to one side, I'm gonna do it to the next side. Okay. 4 minus 4 gives me 0. This side, I didn't do anything to 10, so 10 drops down. 9h minus 4h. H and h stays there. The thing that you're changing is the number, so 9 minus 4 gives me 5h. Okay, now I have one number on this side, one number on the other side. They're not the same because this one has h, this one goes there. That means I have to get rid of this number right here next to h. 5h means 5 times h. So you're gonna have to do the opposite, which is dividing by 5. Okay, this cancels out, h is by itself, so h equals 10 divided by 5 gives me 2. Okay, so the height is 2, but 2 what? They're talking about 2 inches. And how do I know it's inches? Because they told me the base was 10 inches. So I know I'm using 10 inches. The height has to be 10 inches. And that's it. If you are still struggling, please make sure to come see me in the morning after school and ask questions.